Okay, this is Aspen University, CJ440, Juvenile Justice, Module 5, Discussion Question 1. Do you believe juvenile offenders should be held in adult facilities for any reason? I apologize. I'm a little bit on edge right now. There's a riot and looting going on about 6 blocks from my home, so everything's a little bit crazy. Okay, so juvenile offenders in adult facilities. So in their textbook, Taylor and Fritsch describe that juveniles are typically, when remanded, to be held in a facility or in a juvenile facility. However, there are circumstances under which a juvenile might be held in an adult facility, and that is when typically if a juvenile is waived to be tried in criminal court and they are found guilty within certain age parameters or above a certain age, while still being a juvenile, they might be held and incarcerated in an adult facility. Now, the text goes on to indicate that in these circumstances, sometimes they are held in general population with other adults, and sometimes they're held with other juveniles separately from the adults. Nonetheless, regardless of that scenario, it's still an adult facility. So do I personally think that there's any reason why this is appropriate? So I have to admit that personally I'm kind of on the fence. On the one hand, I would want to say that a juvenile, even though some juveniles unfortunately commit awful, horrendous crimes. In fact, I'm working on a case right now that involves a 16-year-old that's accused of murder on one person and attempted murder on 2 others. And I've been analyzing and enhancing videos, surveillance videos primarily, that are part of this case. And it's very troubling to me to think that teenagers might be out there doing that. When I was 16, I was out, going to Denny's and getting coffee and French fries with my friends. And there are 16-year-olds that are out there murdering. So there's certainly a part of me that says, yeah, just like the textbook indicates, you do the crime, you do the time, right? So if they're old enough to commit murder, they're old enough to be in there with other murderers. On the other hand, they're children. And even though children do horrible things, they don't at a certain level understand the severity of what they're doing, I think. This is part of the basis for having a juvenile justice system, this understanding. So I really think that it has to be measured case by case. And gosh, I can't personally make a decision. I could see the rationales for both, and I can see the arguments for both. I guess the only thing I can really say is that I'm glad it's not up to me to make these decisions. But at the end of the day, what I would trust and hope for is that whatever decision is made for the juvenile, that it's done with his or her best interest in mind to get them the help that they need, and hopefully to rehabilitate them, even if they end up going into the criminal justice system and are in an adult facility. The reference, it's going to be down below. It's Taylor and Fritsch 2015 Juvenile Justice Policies, Programs, and Practices. Thanks.